and the meeting of other leaders, this is something that they are going to discuss. We know that foreign affairs ministers of BRICS are meeting tomorrow to look at the document that was prepared by the officials on this issue, and after tomorrow they will then give a document to heads of state and government of the BRICS to take a decision in terms of the expansion. Flo? China, but also relation to government. And you know, after COVID-19 or during COVID-19, China did implement tough measures, and he didn't travel much. Even this year, he didn't travel much. On the issue of the sluggish economy of China, yes, that's what we are told by economists. But in terms of China, China is saying the economy is growing and they don't have any problem. And therefore, it depends who's doing an analysis. But you know that because of the war in Ukraine, because of COVID-19, all these countries are trying to ensure that they rebuild the economy, because some of the measures that were implemented were very tough, in China in particular, and they did affect the economy. And therefore, there is truth in terms of challenges of the economy, but also you have powerful countries such as Germany, countries such as the United States of America struggling also to revive the economy. You know that this is a big challenge for President Joe Biden ahead of the elections next year, the presidential elections. And therefore, I think the analysis by the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, you would recall that at some point in time 2 years ago, when he was delivering the Nelson Mandela lecture, he spoke about a new deal. This new deal, the aim was to ensure that you revive the global economy, and the developed North is committed to assisting the developing South and the poorer countries. And therefore, I think all countries are experiencing the economic challenges. You know, in our country, we have similar problems, and therefore, I think it is a global problem. I expect the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, on Thursday to touch on these issues, because you really have to address the challenges. You know, climate change has also contributed to the economic challenges, Flo. I think technology in particular, you know that the country is quite advanced in relation to technology, the fourth industrial revolution, but also how you use artificial intelligence in such a way that it doesn't harm the nations. The other issue is the electricity. You know, South Africa is currently grappling with the power challenges. And China had promised that they will assist South Africa. I also know that the BRICS summit, you would recall there were talks that it is not going to happen in South Africa, it will be virtual. It is President Xi Jinping who insisted that the BRICS summit must go ahead, it must be in person, and it must be in South Africa. I was told 3 months ago that he even made an undertaking that if it means he must assist South Africa to address the challenge of the electricity, he is prepared to do so. And therefore, I think these are some of the issues that the two countries can look at in terms of collaboration or perhaps working together. But the only thing that also must receive attention is the trade imbalance. You know that it's skewed in favor of China, and you want to increase that. The issue of beneficiation in South Africa, but also on the continent. You know that many leaders on the continent have pointed out that the time has come for Africa to be able not only to send raw materials, but they must be able to export the products so that they can get better returns. And I think these are some of the issues that the two leaders are going to discuss. The issue of the automobile, the motor industry. You know that we now have motor industry that is really developing around the world, and we saw some cars from China, many of these cars quite affordable, and I think that's another sector to explore, Flo. Yes, you are correct. The military, the officials who are here, they are now ready. You can see even the cars, the convoy, the cars are coming closer, and therefore I think he is about to come out. We see people also who are supposed to perform some traditional activities from different persuasions coming closer, and car, as you can see, driving near the red carpet. And I think that moment has arrived for the president of China to come out of the plane. Flo? Yes, you are correct. The Minister of International Relations, I was told she will be here to receive the Chinese head of state, and I think you can hear we are moving back. You can see that now there's a hive of activity, but I think the Minister of International Relations is going to come very soon. Oh, I'm told the president is on his way. I think he's going to be received by the president floor.
Come to me. Because I need to know if it's safe. I need to know. Let's move back again. Can we move back, please? Move back, please. You need to give me the yes. These vehicles are coming. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Move back. These vehicles are coming through here. Move back, please. Please. Thank you.
Yes, you are correct. Solid relationship flow. And you know that, as I pointed out earlier on Full View, that the relationship dates back to exile years. You know that the Communist Party of China supported the South African Communist Party and the ANC, and that relationship is continuing. They are still very close, and you know that recently the Secretary General of the ANC was in China, and you know that many delegations from the governing party and the South African Communist Party did visit China. And that happened recently, and therefore I think you'll agree with me that the relationship is very strong. I mean, you can see the fact that the president is here to receive the president of China. It speaks to the strong relationship between the two countries. You can see President Ramaphosa has just arrived, and he's going to the plane. As you can see, the protocol and the defense force now ready. The president is moving, taking steps. I think he is going to receive the president of China, and a clear demonstration in terms of the relationship between the two countries. Flo? You know what, South Africa always talk about the South African foreign policy that's anchored on human rights and respect for human rights. And they always point out that they don't engage in megaphone diplomacy. There comes President Xi Jinping, you can see him. And therefore these issues, clearly, they do discuss these issues behind the scenes. And you know that yesterday the minister pointed out that much as South Africa gets a flag in terms of having friends, but no friend is perfect. And I think that's the approach, that no country is perfect, and if you want to engage and change people, you have to talk to them behind the scenes. You don't engage in a megaphone diplomacy. You know, that has been the approach. With former presidents also doing the same, where there are global issues. But South Africa yesterday, the president was clear in terms of the South African foreign policy anchored on peace, security, and also respect for rule of law and respect for human rights. But yeah, it gets tough, particularly when these issues are debated at United Nations Human Rights Council. At the Security Council, it's much easier because countries such as China have veto powers. And therefore, yeah, you know, they use the power they have. Yeah, it's a huge. Yes, you are correct. I saw Minister Kele, the Minister of Police. I saw Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, the Minister for Youth, Women and People with Disability. And also I saw the President. And I think it speaks to what we spoke about earlier on, that this is no ordinary country in terms of the relationship between South Africa and particularly the governing party and its alliance component. You know that, yeah, the relationship is quite strong, and I am not surprised to see the, very senior cabinet ministers and the president here at OR International Airport at night, very late at night, I must say. I'm struggling to catch, the sentence. You know that sometimes with high security area like this, it's very difficult to hear. Can you repeat, please, Flo? Yeah, the car is now leaving, Flo, and I see ministers who are waiting, and the president. I am going to try my luck. It's very difficult, but I hope the security is not going to push me aside. I will try and just get a word from the president how he feels at this moment after all the activities. Let's try, Flo. Let's wait and see. But you can see the president is still enjoying, the performance by different people who are rendering this performance, demonstrating different cultures. And behind the president you can see Minister Kele, Minister of Police, and I also saw Minister Naledi Pandor. I saw Minister Pandor. Let's try. Mr. President, how are you?
Very well, very well.
Your guests are arriving now, sir.
Guests are arriving, so it's going to be a wonderful BRICS summit, and tomorrow we have a state visit.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I know you have a lot of work. We are live on SABC. Thank you so much for your time. That's President Ramaphosa there. He's quite happy and saying that tomorrow it is the state visit in the morning, and later, of course, he will then have a meeting with the leaders of BRICS. That's ahead of the main one on Wednesday. And Flo, I think I've done my part. I've tried. It's an early morning tomorrow, and it's a long week. And back to you in studio. Thank you so much.
Whose is this? Can you move it, please? The car is going to go.
Hello.